In this video we're going to have a look at creating a denim jean. So as you know, what I always do is I create the front and the back at the same time so that we don't have to worry about things being cut up before we do them. So we're going to create this denim jean. You can see I've divided it into colors. The reason being is that we're going to use our shape builder tool to divide the shape up. So let's start off with creating the front jean. I'll just zoom into the crow key. As always, I'll start at the center front, below the waist, because most jeans are below the waist these days. So click once onto the center front, no shaping at all. I go up to the side seam and click once on the side seam. Coming down a little bit to probably the crotch level, I'll click there and then drag. So you can see how I am dragging my handle down the leg. And then I go down all the way down to the hem. Click once on the inside leg. And now I come up to the crotch, and because they're fitted and skinny jeans that we're doing, we'll come straight up to the crotch, click into the crotch and drag. And now watch the direction of my handles. So the handle going to the left is going down the leg a little bit, and it's curving that line in, shaping it to touch the thigh. Go back to selection tool once I've done that. So there are a few things here that you're not to worry about. The first is not to worry about that little bit of calf sticking out. We have to draw the denim straight, or the pant leg straight. And the other thing which we are going to worry about is to actually bring that anchor point up a little, just to round the hip out. Direct selection, and I can see that that anchor point is closer to the center, that one's further away. So in this case I'm going to align to the right. So I've selected both of those anchor points, come up to my align option in the option bar, and horizontal align right, right click and join. Come to my convert anchor point tool, click onto the center front anchor point, sweep around and then hold shift to create that waist shape. Come all the way with that convert anchor point tool to the handle on the other side and click onto that handle to deselect, to delete that whole handle going all the way across. The next thing I'm going to do is to create the waistband. So direct selection, Control C or Command C if you're on a Mac, to the front, Command F, Control F. So I selected that line, as you know we're always doing. I'll just change the color of the fill and the stroke so that you can see the line. And what I'm going to do now is copy that line. So I have two lines. So select the line, selection tool, Alt to copy it. So Alt will copy it, and use your keyboard arrows to move it up once. And my keyboard increment is really large, so I'm going to move it back. Control K, Command K to go to preferences and make my keyboard increment 1 millimeter. And now nudge that up. And I'm happy with 2 millimeters. I'll come to my pen tool, rest my mouse on that anchor point, come down to the next anchor point, and you see the little square with a line through it. That means that I'm going to close that shape, close that line, but not close the shape. So the shape is still open, as we can see over here. Click, and that shape is closed. To my scissor tool, which is underneath the eraser tool, keyboard shortcut C, intersect that path, cut, selection tool, and delete that. Come back to my pen tool, We see the forward slash, close that shape. Now immediately, before we do anything else, we're going to create the back. Select both of those shapes, Ctrl C, Ctrl B, to the back and nudge that up, direct selection, and nudge the back up. So you can see what's happening here is that handle is distorting the shape of the waistband. All we need to do here is come to our Convert Anchor Point tool, come to the edge of the handle and click once to delete it. And you have your back and front shape. Group the back and we'll move it away for the moment. Once we've moved the back away, what we'll do is copy that side seam and copy the inner leg seam. To do this, we need to use direct selection. On the side seam, we need to select that anchor point. So you see that anchor point is inactive and that anchor point is inactive, and only that anchor point is active. So when I copy now, Command C, Command F, Control C, Control F, Selection tool V, and I nudge that side seam in, it only selected the side seam. I can't have a fill in that because it'll create a separate shape, so I'm going to delete the fill and probably use my eye. I'm using my eye just to move that back a little bit. And now down at the bottom, what I need you to do is to have that line coming slightly outside or just intersecting the pant shape. I'm going to come outside just to keep it simple. We're going to select the inside leg seam, direct selection, Ctrl C, Ctrl F. I can see immediately that that's got fill in, so I remove that. Selection tool V and move that in once. Once again at the bottom, direct selection and drag that until it just is slightly outside. Now in this area over here, if I do try and drag that in, it'll distort that shape. So I'm actually going to just go to my pen tool, click onto that anchor tool point, and just draw the rest of that line. So I've actually just physically, manually added a line there instead of moving that shape. I'm going to just move this waistband up, and the next thing I'm going to do is cut that shape up. To do that, I select the whole shape. So I select the two design lines. Both of those design lines are poking out the ends on both sides. And I come to my Shape Builder tool. I already have a yellow in the fill there, so I'm just going to rest my mouse on the center and click once to divide that shape. I can now delete any overhang and create the pocket shape. Pen tool. So we can either click on the path, but when you click on the path, make sure you see the star or the little asterisk there rather than a plus sign, because that means you'll add an anchor point to that, or just outside the path, which means that we'll definitely cut this because we want to cut this shape as well. So clicking just outside there, if you want to, you can actually put a little bit of shaping in the center, in the middle there, and then come outside over here. I'm just going to adjust that shape a little bit. So that line doesn't have any fill in it, and that's fine. That's what I want. Pick up the back shape, come to Shape Builder again, and let's put a different color into there. And then I'll just click onto that pocket or onto here. Go back to Selection tool and get rid of the overhang. So can you see how when I rest my anchor point on my tool onto that line, it highlights the green side seam piece. This means that that's on top, so I'd like to take that behind. So I come to my selection tool, arrange, send to back, because what I would like to happen is for, and again that's in front as well, I need to send that to the back. Now when I click my mouse onto, using my direct selection onto that pocket edge, it'll highlight that anchor point, and now I can drag that out. And you can adjust the handle a little bit as well. So we have already discussed in class the reason you do that. That's my front done, and now I'll do my back. So my back is basically, it just has a yoke and a pocket. The yoke is a straight line either side of the shape. Select both of those, shape builder, another color, and that's easy enough. The pocket, I'm just going to draw a rectangle that looks okay in size. Move that off. Add an anchor point to that. So I want it to line up with the center. Best thing to do would be to drag a guideline in, click onto there, move that down a little. Direct selection, I'll move that down a little. 1, 2. Same on the other side. 1, 2. Looks a little fat, bring it in once. Let's put another color in there. And if you're happy with that, we'll just rotate it until it lines up with that yoke seam. And then I'll bring that waistband back. Select both those waistbands and we'll just make the stroke black. And you're now ready to put details into this jean. So what we'll do is go to default black and white, and details and fill will be for our next class.